Now, I'm not quite sure what sort of video this is. I'm showing you a couple of different things from different people, and I'm hoping we're also going to have time to pop a little hat together for my Cindy here in one of the items I'm going to show you. So should we start with this box first? I think I'm going to move Cindy to one side. I'll move all this to one side as well. Now, this was actually a Christmas present. This is from my friend Julie, who is the owner of So Unique. She does also, obviously she has a shop and she does tutorials, and she's got a YouTube and her Etsy shop. So I'm going to pop the links on there, but this was a Christmas present to me. If you do actually go on her YouTube though, you will recognize some of these, because even the basket she's made, it's really cool. So we have a little Christmas gnome. I need to put my Christmas decorations away, so I thought I better get these done, because I can't believe how fast it's gone since Christmas. But just look at him, he's all weighted and everything and cute. I suppose you could argue he's like a little doorstop, but I had him on my mantelpiece as a decoration because I thought he was rather cute. So I got my little gnome. I also got this gorgeous yarn, which is what I'm going to do the Cindy hat in. I think it's a little Christmassy as it stands, but I know, as mad as it sounds, I do need to start thinking already. I've got Easter and Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and all sorts of things to get done first. But I think it's beautiful wool. I have used the opal before. Really nice stuff. Really nice. Love 4-ply as well. We also have this. Again, we've got a little handmade. Oh, little soap. This smells. I wish you could smell it. You can't, but I know. But it smells so nice. Got that as well. So this is just the present that keeps giving. Obviously the basket itself, this is the reason I need to get this shown, because I need to use it, because I want to use it as a yarn basket. So, which is really, really cute. As you can see, we have the So Unique label there. Now, and also in this, I've already eaten them, but she popped bits of sweets and chocolate, because she knows how much I love my chocolate, so she popped that in there as well. So all in all, absolutely gorgeous little present. So thank you, Julie, and I will be popping some links on if you want to have a look. She does a lot of sort of more fabric crafts, perhaps, you could say, but there's some of the stuff is gorgeous. So if you're into sort of your fabric and your quilting and things like that, pop over and have a look. I will pop the links below. I'm going to actually use this in a minute, so let's take that out as well, making a total mess. And I'm going to drop my wool in there because we're going to use it in a few moments, so I'll pop that to one side. The other thing I wanted to show you, it came through today, so I thought, why not? You've heard me talk about what Mustard made before, and I've had stitch markers and yarn, and I had a few for the advent as well. But what I do like is she does these tiny weeny mini skeins. These are double knit, but I saw the colour she popped on the other day and I thought, oh, I've got to have a couple of those, perfect for the dolls. So first of all, there is the yarn, which the colours are absolutely amazing. Just look at that. That is just a rainbow of colours. She always pops on what they are as well, which helps. This is Martha. This is the name of the yarn, and it is a double knit, and it is a 10-gram ball. Now again, which is nice, she actually puts the meterage, which does help when you are doing it. But they are, as it says, small batch, hand dyed, using professional sort of equipment, etc. It is so soft. It is really nice. And sometimes, you know, if you see these gorgeous big hand dyed skeins, well, if I'm working for the dolls, it's an awful lot of yarn to need. So this is a great way of doing it. So I got 2 of those. I also got myself, because we all know I'm addicted to stitch markers, this cute little pussycat, and I got a little freebie as well. Thank you there, Tracy. And I've got my tea bag, which she always pops in, white tea, blueberry and elderflower. I like the sound of that one. That one's definitely one I'm going to have. Now, as I've just said, a little addicted to these stitch markers. I've now put them all in this tin. Now, this tin actually had Turkish Delight in. I absolutely adore what I call proper Turkish Delight. Cannot stand the stuff with chocolate on, but the rose and lemon with the icing sugar is absolutely divine. But I liked it because I like the tin as well. So, are you ready? These are some, I'm sure some of you have got a lot more, but my stitch markers, they're building up, aren't they? They were in a tiny pot, now the pot's got bigger. I've got some themed ones, because I've got some Easter stuff coming up, so that little bunny one's going to be coming out. There's a little carrot there, I suppose that's a little bit Eastery. I've got my Christmas ones, and some I've shown you before, but that is going in my tin for my stitch markers, so I need to pop them in as well. So I've got a sort of stitch marker for all occasions, which is brilliant, but I'll still end up buying more. So I'm going to pop this box away as well, and I will also pop Tracy's details on the bottom to have a look. She'll say she has some stunning hand-dyed yarns if you're using sort of the larger skeins and things like that, and they are sort of limited edition, so it's always nice to have something a little bit more special. So we'll pop that to one side. Now let's have a look what we're doing for time. That only took me 5 minutes, that's okay. So let's bring Cindy in here. She's still in a woolly jumper and trousers from Christmas. So again, we have red and green, so we'll go for red and green. This is a 4-ply yarn. There's 100 grams in it, as you can see, and it is opal. Magic Sky. I say I've used it before. It is a sock yarn, as you can see. Now, if you do make socks, look at that. Look at the patterning. That is absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, that's knitted. I'm going to be crocheting, and your patterning does come out very different if you crochet. So, break the band. This is why my wool always gets tangled, because I also can't take, you know, people take it from the middle. I just can't do it. I've got to even find an end. That looks like it could be. Let's have a look. Shall I keep pulling? Yay! I work from the outside. This is why this is very handy, because otherwise my wool sort of flies around. So we're going to be using this one. I'm going to be using a 3mm crochet hook. I've not made this hat yet with this yarn. I will bring in a couple of other things, obviously. We have my needles there. I have a pair of scissors somewhere, but we're not really, oh, there they are. I'll get my scissors as well. Don't really need them at this point. So I've not made this, so I'm winging it a little bit. I already have a cloche hat pattern, I'm going to call it, for Cindy, and I've got it down as for a 4-ply yarn and 3mm hook. So let's just hope it's going to work. So here we go. Let's have a look. It's got gold. You can see the sparkle in it as well. I hope you can. It's really, really nice. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit closer, which is what I've been trying to do without it blurring. So I've got my slip knot on my hook, and as per, I'm going to start with 2 chain. And into that first chain, I'm going to do 6 double crochets. So we have 1. Let's go a bit slower. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Just pull that tight where the slip knot is. Now I'm going to do 2 in each. It's a very nice yarn to handle. Some sock wools can be a bit rough. You can feel it as a sock wool texture, but it's still nice to work with. So that is 2 in each, 2 in each. So we're going up to 12 stitches now. That's our third one. 3, 4, 5 and 1 more makes 6. So now that gives us 12 stitches, because we've done, let me move that out of the way, we've done 2 double crochets into each previous double crochet. We're going to do that again, so 2 in each of the 12, so we're going to end up with 24. Now don't forget, you can slow me down or speed me up on the settings. So that was 1, 2, 3, although if you do speed it up, I sound like I'm been inhaling is it helium? Is it? I'm going to say helium. Is it helium? It is, isn't it? That makes your voice go squeaky. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. So yes, I do sound a little bit silly, and if you slow me down, I get really slow as well. But as long as you can see the stitches, that's all that matters. So that was the third one, wasn't it? So 2 in number 4, 2 in number 5. Oh, got a bit of a colour change there. And number 6, I don't think we're going to get much of a colour change at this size. And 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more. 11 and 12. So we now have our 24 stitches. You can see it's nice and flat, which is what we're looking for. We still do need a little bit more of an increase before we start moving on to just plain rounds. We've got another one here. Let me just double check. I'm going to do 2 stitches in 1 and 1 stitch in 5 times 4 to give us 28 stitches basically. So we have 2 in this one. and then we have 1 in each of the next 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now that's our first set. There's 4 sets like that. So 2 in our next one and 1 in each of the next 4. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's 2 sets. Let me just pull this yarn a little bit. Oh, we might get some colour change. I can see some pink coming up. So this is our 3rd set. So we have 1, 2 and then 1 in the next 4, 5. I nearly said 4 then, didn't I? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 2 in the next one and 1 in the next 5, and then we've done that round. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Looking good. I'm going to now find a little stitch marker from my massive collection. I'm only picking out one of the very tiny ones that I've got. It's a little cup because if they're a bit bigger they get in the way when you're working with items this size. So it's a little tiny weeny teacup. Slide that in. There we go. So now we're going to start on just double crochet rounds. Now I'm just having a look here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds I've written down in double crochet. 1 and 6. I'm just double checking. I think there may be an extra round there. We're going to, I say I'm completely winging it here. So I'm going to do 3 rounds. And then I'm going to have a look on the fit just in case, because some of these patterns, this is an old one that I've written, I did them so that they could sort of have 2 options on size, sort of to fit Barbie or to fit Cindy. At the moment, this, I don't know whether this is looking a little small, so I'm going to play this by ear. We're going to do 3 rounds of just 1 double crochet in each previous double crochet stitch. So you don't really need me to slow down for this. Just remember it's the same stitch in every single stitch all the way round until you get to your stitch marker. But again, if you desperately do need to slow me down, pop it into the settings. It's like a little cog. I know I keep mentioning it, but I think some people are having trouble finding it. I couldn't find it at first. I had to have my son to show me where it was. So we're almost round on our first round. Like I say, it is crocheting up beautifully. It feels really nice to handle. So I'll just mark it down with my pen. That was the first one. I said pink before. It's more of a red, isn't it? There's a red, sort of a dark pink, light red, I don't know, coming up soon. So second round, just 1 double crochet into each double crochet. And we'll get ready for that colour change very soon. That's why I like variegated yarn. Especially if you're doing something a bit tedious, it sort of breaks up the monotony. You know, if you're getting bored, all of a sudden another colour comes along. So it makes you feel like you're doing something different. There we go, we've got a bit of a different colour. Still got that sparkle, obviously, all the way through it all. Again, love sparkly, shiny stuff. So, proper magpie I am. Oh, that's going to look nice because it looks like it's going to change back into a different green in a couple of minutes. So this is our second round. Make sure I'm staying in place. Oh, it's much better with a basket rather than having my wall rolling around. It's going to get a lot of use, that little basket has. Oh, you see we've got a different colour green now. It's more of a muted, almost mossy green. I know I've mentioned it before, but I'm a big fan of green. Right, so when we've got round this round, which again is just a double crochet round, we're going to have a look, see how it fits. Now, if you did have a Barbie, or I've got some Pure Nemos, the A-Zone dolls, they sort of, if I was making a hat for them, they would be Barbie size as well. Our Sindy here has a rather large head, so we do have to sort of make patterns that fit her. So I do have to have 2 different sizes. But in the book I'd make notes in, I just sort of scribble something, which is what I've done there. That's why I'm not 100% sure. for the two different sizes. Right, I'm going to have a look now. I'm going to stop. So pull that nice and long, and let's see how. Actually, you know, I think that might be okay, because basically you need to be looking that before you start doing the plain rows, you need to be covering the whole of the crown. Then you can start on just double crochet rounds and it will bring it down. Those colours looking nice. I like that a lot. Right, so that was 3, wasn't it? So we're going to do another 3 and we'll have a look how it goes. So 3 more rounds of just 1 double crochet in each one. I actually like this green that's coming out more than the previous one. It's a lovely colour. We're not doing too bad for just winging it. Let's have a look while we're going for time as well. 15 minutes, that's not bad. If you think a good 5 of that, I was telling you about the products that I've got. So we've really been crocheting about 10 minutes. So you could probably, depending on how fast you are, I know some people say I'm a little bit too fast here, but sort of just the speed I work at, unfortunately. I do try and slow down. That's 1 more round. That's 1 more of this second lot of 3. Another one, just 1 double crochet, and we're getting a change of colour as well. But what I was saying about speed, I got distracted again, didn't I? I reckon even if you're at a really steady pace, or you're having to stop and start because of other distractions, you definitely have a hat in an hour, and I don't think that's bad going, really. As you speed up, you could possibly get one out in half an hour. You've got to do all your sewing up and bits and bobs as well then, but sometimes the sewing up, or if it's got decoration or some other detail, or you're adding pieces to it, that is what takes the time. And if I'm doing just a basic sort of cloche hat like this, I can do them quite quickly. But then if I'm sort of adding flowers, or if it's an animal, I'm adding ears or other details, like I say, it's just the sewing in, making sure it's secure, bits like that. That does take time. Right, so that was our second one of our second set of 3. And then we're going to measure it on her head again. You know, I'd said Christmassy colours, but I don't know, I think this could go anytime. I think I might make a few of these for Dollycorn. I think a nice little scarf would be good with it as well. It looks the sort of thing that should have a nice woolly scarf with it. So I might make a couple. Scarves couldn't be any easier with dollies, obviously. You don't really need a pattern with scarves. I know I have done a couple for the Smart Doll. Nearly round. Not quite sure what to call this colour that I'm on now. It seems to be like a rosy colour. Right, when we get round, we're going to stop. I'm also going to move the stitch marker. So I'm going to stop there, pull that long because I need to try it on her head, and I'm going to move this stitch marker up because it does make a difference that. And let's see how it's fitting. Luckily with yarn, you've got a bit of stretch there. Let's have a think. I don't think it needs to be any bigger. Again, this is a time where you'd have a look at your tension. If you were extremely tight, it may be a case of you might need to do maybe 4 increases to just make it a little bit bigger. If you're very loose, well, it'll fit comfortably anyway. I mean, all the dolls have different hair as well, which sometimes sort of can cause issues. But we're definitely not long enough. Now, according to this, let's have a look. Oh, we would have an increase, but that's not at the bit. Definitely not got enough rounds though. As much as my original pattern did say that there was actually only 5, we've done 6. I think we need 2 more rounds, so 2 more. So in total, we've had 6, 7, 8. We will have had 8 just plain double crochet rounds. So 2 more. And then we're going to start to shape it, because a cloche hat sort of shapes out, doesn't it? It's just as a sort of a little sort of, well, not a peak, that's the wrong word, but it's sort of like, goes out that way. That doesn't show that way, because obviously the video's on a different angle to my hand there. So we're carrying on with this pretty rose colour. The hook's going quite nicely through the yarn. There are some yarns, especially if they do have a sort of like a filamenty sort of or glittery sort of thread through them, it catches. This is not a bad crochet hook, this though. This is one of the Knit Pro ones, and they are quite smooth. So I'm just doing a double crochet round again. And we've gone back to that nice, my favourite green, the sort of mossy green. It's a soft green. So that was one of the two extra that I was talking about. So we're going to have one more again after this one. So I'm so pleased with the colour variation we've got here. So this, hopefully, I'm going to double check before I say it. I'm saying at the moment it is our last double crochet round. See, I didn't want to do a practice one with the yarn because apart from the fact I didn't want to open the yarn before I showed it you, I think it's a nice surprise for me as much as for you then, when you can see how the patination's coming out. Couple more stitches and then we'll have a last try. I am pretty sure it probably will fit now, because obviously we need to do that little bit where it's going to shape out, and then there's another 4 rows after that. So let's have a quick check. Come here, Cindy. Sit still. She's got quite flat hair, as I say, this one. Some of them don't. So I think, yeah, I think that's okay. And I'll show you why, because we do have more rounds to go. There is actually 5 more rounds and a slip stitch round in total. So this one, though, is going to be an increase round. And it seems like a lot of increases, but it will make sense. So we're going to do 2 in 1, 1 in the next one, 2 in 1. So we're alternating 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way around. So you don't need to overthink the quantity. Just work round to the stitch marker. So that was a 2. That is a 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. If any of you have watched my videos and that don't crochet, but they're watching because of the other bits and bobs, any of the items I do make, I will make to sell as well if people wanting it, or if they want things in a different colour or something like that. I do that as well, and I've got a few items on my Etsy. But to be honest, a lot of my work comes via commission rather than Etsy. So if somebody's sort of seen something and they make it, oh, can you do it in pink? Or, you know, oh, I'd like one of those. That is how I'll usually do it. Like I said, I think with this one, I think I got quite a few out of that ball. But I think I might like to make them as sets. I think it would be a scarf and hat set. I've not done any scarves for a while. I don't think I'm going to have time to do a scarf for you. They don't take long, but that was a 2, wasn't it? And a 1, and a 2, and a 1. And I'd say we're round. So you can see it's just starting to shape out a little bit. It's a little bit of a bell shape going off there. So now we're going to have just double crochet rounds, and we're going to have 3 of them. We've got more stitches now, obviously, because we have increased, according to mine, 14 times. I'm not sure about that. Yes, I would be, because it was 28 stitches, wasn't it? And we've done alternate 2 and a 1. So which is 14 times. So yes, we've got quite a few more. What we got? 42. Is that 42? God, I don't. 28, 38, 42. Off we go. So this will actually start to show the shape of the brim. I do love cloche hats. I love the shape of them. I just I love that sort of quite vintage feel. I think it's quite a cozy look in a woolly hat as well. Haven't actually got one myself. Perhaps I should make myself one if I sort of did it in an Aran or a chunky perhaps. I know somebody commented on my Smart Doll one saying that I ought to have, you know, if I got a pink hat like she had and she had a pair of glasses, we'd look quite similar, which is very complimentary. It's very nice to say. But yeah, I had thought about doing some sort of mix and match, one for the person, one for the doll. I think that'd be quite cute. Obviously, you could use a much thicker yarn if you're going to be doing it for a person. Oh, I might actually make a few for these for the Smart Doll as well. The only thing is when you're using 4-ply, obviously it takes a lot more work. So it's going to be quite a lot to do. So that was one round. And I said there was 3. Can you see we're getting a lovely shape there? That is just so pretty. I am really over the moon with how that's coming out. So another round. Oh, we have another 2 rounds, don't we? Now I have actually finished with a slip stitch round. You don't have to. You can just leave it at the 3 rounds if you want. The reason I've put a slip stitch round should I say, is because I think it edges it. I don't always do it. It purely depends on what the design is. But I think for this particular design, it edges it nicely. I'll do it with most brims, to be honest, because obviously a brim sticks out, so it's the edge is more visible, whereas sort of a straight sort of beanie just pulls down. And also with the beanie, you need the stretch. If you put a slip stitch round at the end of making a beanie, it makes it tight, and you don't want that. But because the brim isn't what's fitting over the actual head, it can be allowed to sort of have that nice slip stitch edging. Or depending on what you're doing, you may be doing a different edging altogether, which would look nice. It doesn't have to be just a flat edge. We're almost there, and then we've only got one more, and then our slip stitch round. Slip stitches are not the most popular of stitch. A lot of people don't like them. They are important to master because especially if you're making borders and just different sort of patterns, you may require them, and if you do a good one, it makes a big difference to your work. Right, last round. So what did we say? I got 42 stitches, wasn't it? So we're counting down. Now I'm calling this a cloche hat. I think some people call it a bucket hat. It's a very versatile hat because, well, I'll show you when I pop it on the doll. It can be left down with a brim like this, or you can turn it back and it makes a nice little roll top beanie, really. So it's quite versatile how you can sort of play with the brim on it. So I'm going to look at my positioning. My phone seems very lopsided tonight. I hope it's not slid. It has done before. I feel like I might over to that side a bit this time. I feel like I'm sat up more as well. I feel like I'm sort of right. I've got a sort of a board down my back while I'm doing it. Although that's not a bad thing, because as a crafter, I have a tendency to slouch, like all crafters, and that is not great for your back. So perhaps having the camera there and me having to look at it as well as what I'm doing makes me keep a slightly straighter back. Pity we didn't get to this bit. Can you see how this bit's got like sort of, I wonder if that work out like little spots on the hat. That'd be interesting when I've made a few more, because every hat is going to come out different, which is great, because then everybody gets something slightly different. So when we get to these little patches like this, you see how you go sort of very quickly, maybe what, not even an inch before there's a colour change. And I presume there might be some more in there. There's a red, bit of a red one doing it. So it would give you different colours as you were going. So that's nice. It's nice to get that variation again. Let's get back to doing this. Where am I? Almost round. Now, when I do my slip stitch, it will look a little weird because I angle it a little bit strange compared with some people. I will go through what a slip stitch is carefully, and then I'll just go for it. And like I say, I know it's a little bit off-putting the way I do it, I think, especially the angle. So you can see we've got this cute little hat shaping up. So my slip stitch goes in, we pull the yarn through, and then it comes through. It's just straight through this one. Yeah, so I'll do another one. In, grab the yarn, pull through this bit. So I'll try and get it a little bit closer. How's that? If that's not blurry, I hope it's not blurry. So we go in, grab the yarn, pull it through, pull it through. In, grab the yarn, pull it through. Right, now I have a tendency to sort of twist my hook that way to pull it through. It just makes it quicker for me. So I go in, pull through and twist. You don't have to do that as long as you pull the yarn through and then straight through the one on the hook. I'll do a slow one again. Pull it through, straight through the one on the hook. Pull it through, straight through the one on the hook. So I'm now going to speed up, but you just need to do one slip stitch in every single one of these double crochets. And like I say, you'll see me do this sort of strange, sort of twisty action, because I find it goes through the hook, goes through the loop a lot neater, and I can make it a lot faster by doing so. You'll all have your own techniques. Don't think you have to crochet like somebody else. I have seen so many different types of crochet techniques over the years, and you know, it's not for me to correct somebody. Everybody's different. If it works and if you get that end product, it does not matter in the slightest. So this is just my funny little way of sort of twisting on a slip stitch. So apologise if this looks really fast now, but just sort of stop and start, have a look at when I do it slow if it's a new one for you, and have a little practice before you actually go round. Now you'll know when you get to the end, I know stitch markers there, because it's very hard to get in, because you would not get into that next stitch. So that tells me I'm round. Fasten it off, and let's hope it fits now. I didn't double check it, did I? It'll be fine. Right, it'll fit her one way or another, whether it be a crochet, it's a different matter. But let's have a look, missus. So we'll pop her there, see if you can you see her nicely there? I think so. Right, we're going to just push that in for now. Obviously that end wants sewing in, and so does that end, but let's have a look. Whoop! So that's how it works with a little bucket hat. What we need to do, which is what I didn't do before I tried it on, I stretch it. Yeah, stretch it round. I think this is going to be more of a roll top beanie. Look at that. See, that makes a nice hat shape. So you've got that sort of hat shape. You can have it half up, half down, which is quite nice. So it's sort of that sort of shape hat. I just like how you can manipulate this sort of design. You can leave it just so we do have the brim, or it's just more like a little pull-on hat like that. That's a quite cute little hat like that. Or like I've just done. Doesn't help with that's in the way. What am I doing? Put it to the back. Yep, so I actually like that one. I think that might be my preferred shape on her. I think that works well, but if, as I was saying before, I'll let the sides come up a little higher and have a different shape hat just by pulling that down. So I just love the versatility of it. It's a very basic hat. There is one stitch there. My phone's definitely on an angle, and you can just play around with it, but I think I like that one. I like it like a little sort of turned up beanie, not quite as cloche as I'd hoped. Could be the yarn, different yarns. I think last time I did it in a cotton, so a cotton sort of sticks out more and is stiffer, but I do absolutely adore the colour of those. So I think there's definitely going to be some of those going on my Etsy, or maybe a couple for Dolly Con. And obviously my dolls will keep this one. They always keep one. I know somebody said to me once that they would make items, but then their own dolls never got anything. Well, my dolls always get the prototype, so they've got quite a lot of hats. So I'm pleased with that. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're going to have a go. It's very, very simple. Again, if you're doing it for a Barbie, it's not much different, to be honest. In fact, that probably would fit the Barbie, because I think it's quite snug on Sindy. It would probably sort of stick out a little bit more than the Barbie, but it's a case of just sort of manipulating it. Maybe don't increase on one of these rounds here, but just have to play with it, because it will depend on your yarn and on your tension as well. So hopefully you have enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share away, And if you're wanting more notifications, just click on that notification bell and you'll find out when we do our next tutorial. So I'm curious to see how sort of lopsided it looks to me, like my phone's sort of slanted down like that. But I'm sure it won't have videoed like that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.